Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Colleen Zimmerman from TERRA, and we are in one of the most beautiful little spots right here in the middle of the garden center in Waterdown.
Yes,
I was saying, I just want to stay here. This is amazing. This is, again, creating nice little spots, using planters, even in the smallest little space, because a lot of us don't have a lot of space anymore.
True. Even if you don't have a garden per se, you can still have garden plants on your deck, on your patio, on a balcony even.
And that's the thing, so for a lot of people, inner city, people are either living in, as you say, condos, so you have balconies, or very small backyards. Say you're living in a strip of, townhomes or condos, and you have just a little patch of grass in your backyard. You can still create a deck and a space that makes you feel like you've walked your own personal oasis, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's thinking outside of the box then, rather than just using annuals too. You can also use shrubs and evergreens and even edibles on your patio.
And again, that's something I wouldn't think of doing, right? But I've definitely learned from inside, using herbs to make your kitchen look beautiful, and obviously, again, they're functional. But I wouldn't have thought of using, for example, a Japanese maple, as we have over here. I wouldn't have thought to do that and plant it in with annuals.
Yes, and most gardens, that's the coveted specimen to have like a really nice Japanese maple. But you can also grow a Japanese maple in a container too and just combine it with some other annuals and use that as your focal point. And the great thing about using containers too is you can move them around. So if you're having a party or something and you have a little bit of an area that's not looking so wonderful, then you can kind of bump it up a notch by putting a Japanese maple in a planter.
So I mean, obviously they're going to grow, and I mean, you've got to eventually you have to transplant that, but for a while it's okay in a planter.
Yeah, and a lot of things too, like Japanese maple are a dwarf plant, so anything that is dwarf works quite well in planters because they don't grow very fast and they don't have as large a root system. So they can grow in a container for quite a length of time.
Cool, I love that look. As I said, I wouldn't even have thought about something like that. Let's talk about also using a lot of this, bordering and creating almost, again, like a little space by adding, like, again, behind us here, these hydrangeas and creating this space. This is nice.
Yes. It's also a good idea to think of container gardening as a movable garden. So by using like the hydrangeas here, we also have boxwood as well as yews. You can create spaces within your small space, create little outdoor rooms. You can create barriers to your neighbors by adding some trellises in behind and growing some vines on it.
Sure, yeah.
And creating little outdoor rooms.
Yeah, and I love that idea because, again, as you say, like things can start to grow and develop as they make their way through the season, and you do almost create a little bit of privacy.
Exactly.
Right? And some people are living in spaces where they don't really have any privacy, so you have to make it.
Right? Even something like this on a balcony, and even if you were to grow like an annual vine like a morning glory or scarlet runner beans or something like that, that grow extremely fast, would give you, going up the trellis would fill in quite quickly and give you some privacy as well. Okay, so you almost recommend that over even a clematis or something like that? Clematis is good too.
Yep.
The annual vines, they grow a little bit more quickly. Okay. And you'll get flowers all summer long. But clematis in combination with one of those vines is also good. I've done clematis with morning glories. Okay. So then you get kind of both textures going on in there too. That's
a nice idea. Because I'm actually trying to figure that out in my backyard right now. I have a trellis, but there's nothing there, and I'm trying to think of what I would put there. But again, having an annual vine, I never even thought about doing that.
Yeah, you can do them in combination. Or even if you like the clematis, choose two different varieties of clematis that bloom at two different times. And then you get a longer blooming season.
See, that's when it's good to come in and talk to you guys, right? Because a lot of times, just in general, people think about that when you're landscaping, you're thinking about colors as they're changing through the season, and and heights and that as everything's growing. But it's also, you need to think about that with flowers too. When they're going to bloom, you don't want your entire garden to be green at one point and not have any color. So
yeah. So just as you're doing your planning for if you had an actual planted garden, same thing when you're doing your containers. You want to think of color all season throughout too.
Okay, so that's actually a good idea. Now, even something like this is interesting. Again, we're talking about using edibles.
Exactly.
This is actually lettuce.
It is. You can just have this on your patio and just trim it off once in a while, and you can either buy it already grown or start it from seed. They grow really quickly, so it's even great for kids so that they can see things growing and watch things
That's kind of nice. I like that idea. So something like this, I mean, when you're trimming it back and you're still trying to create, you still want it to look nice. How are you supposed to achieve that? That's the secret.
You can kind of selectively trim out certain varieties and then let it grow
dense,
up.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. That's a really great idea. So again, we've talked about boxwoods. Obviously, there is some maintenance involved here, right?
A little bit.
But particularly with boxwoods, I mean, you got to maintain.
Yeah. With the boxwoods, a little bit of trimming, just like you would out in the nursery or in your garden, and keeping things watered. since they're in containers, they're going to dry it a little bit more, and you want to fertilize it a little bit more frequently because they are in a self-contained little garden.
Okay.
So you'll
That's
need to do that.
Those are good tips. And of course, you know, at TERRA, every sort of across the gamut, all the different Miracle Grows and all the different types of fertilizers that you need that are specific for, again, especially planters, as you say.
Yeah.
And especially with the dry weather that we seem to just be ongoing and getting, you need to be on top of those. Right?
Yeah, and sometimes you will need to water probably twice a day, like in the morning before you go to work, and when you come home you may need to water again when you have really hot days. So I know.
I don't think I get around it. Well, it's amazing though. Sometimes you think they're gone and they're like hanging, and then all of a sudden they're back to life again.
And that's one thing about shrubs too, is that they tend to have a little bit more resilience.
Okay. Yeah.
So if they do wilt a little bit, you can bring them back.
Yeah,
from the far
that's good. People are all looking for the low maintenance answers in life, right?
Yeah.
So again, you know, also we're talking about, you know, growing planters with cucumbers and tomatoes and stuff, and they look really pretty.
Yeah, they do. You can have them, like, they have so many different colors of pots, of stakes and tomato cages that you can use now, so you can have a lot of fun with it and add some pump to your garden.
I know, like, I was going to say, because having like pink containers, I mean, it's gorgeous. And also, of course, with a lot of the vegetation, they have flowers associated with them, so there's something kind of nice about that.
Exactly.
And they're usable. And now, of course, we've created this little space here. You know, even having just one of these outdoor rugs and adding the lanterns and all of this, again, it's just kind of sort of thinking outside of the box sometimes, right?
Exactly.
And thinking about what else I can do to add some color and textures and all that, right?
Yeah, just thinking differently, and not just annuals from containers, but thinking of the shrubs, evergreens, perennials are an amazing way to add some texture and color into the garden, and they're very low maintenance.
And that's what I love. And again, so let's talk about the combination of this here. So you've got, I mean, I would have never thought to put like a cedar type shrub with an annual.
It's perfect for on a balcony because it does give you a little bit of privacy. It gives you a little bit of wind protection too if it's a windy area.
Sure.
And then it's got your impatiens in there, as well as some astilbe. So you get the different textures in there.
Yep.
And then for overwintering, if you're on a balcony, bring it right to the side of the building and just kind of protect the pot itself. Just try to insulate it with some old blankets or old quilts or things like that, old comforters, just to try to insulate it. Make sure that it's been watered before it goes to bed. But many of these things will overwinter quite well.
I love that. I mean, and that's the great part of it. So out come the annuals, and next year you can put them back in again, and you've got a good, nice start to your pot.
Exactly.
Oh, good. I love this stuff. Colleen, thank you so much for the great information.
My pleasure.
We just need a couple cocktails now, and we're good to go.
That'd be nice.
We'll see you here. We'll be back with more TERRA at Home.
Live color fully at TERRA, where color lives.
I don't get it, Dave. I use grass seed just like you, and mine's not growing as well as yours.
It's the difference between uncoated seed and Scott's Turf Builder coated grass seed.
Coated grass seed is different?
Yeah, you can see it's different just by pouring it into water.
How does it work?
It's like every seed is wrapped in a water-absorbing sponge.
I can almost picture it.
Introducing Scott's Turf Builder Coated Grass Seed. The exclusive coating absorbs up to 2 times more water. It's the quicker, easier way to start growing a healthy lawn. New Scott's Turf Builder Coated Grass Seed.
Heritage Perennials presents TERRA's Perennial Pick of the Week. Rudbeckia Goldstern is one of the best perennials of all time. Combine it with ornamental grasses for a great show in summer. Heritage Perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. Now in the kitchen set, I'm here with female race car driver Ashley McCalmont. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us here today.
Thanks for having me.
This is fun. We've talked in the past, but this is kind of fun to kind of catch up where you are. But for viewers that are just joining us, we need to talk about how does a woman, and still probably we would say a male-dominant industry, how do you get into something like this? So let's go back to
the beginning.
The beginning.
Well, my dad used to race, so he started when I was 3, and I grew up at the track. I grew up at Mossport every weekend watching him race. playing around with the tools and that. So I started when I was 7, 8, started getting interested in it and did some go-karting, moved up to Cascar Junior, which is a half-size Cascar. Raced that up in London until I could get my license.
It's amazing though you can start that young though, right?
Yes.
I think people forget that you can start as just a little child.
Definitely.
And now, would you at that age, when you were 7 and 8 getting into it and even moving into 10 in your teen years, were you the only girl on the track?
There was usually one other one.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of about 20 guys.
Yeah.
So there was less of us.
Did you feel comfortable though? Did you feel fine just because you've been around it all the time?
Growing up at the track with my dad's crew, there's 10, 11 guys there every weekend. I was just one of the guys. So I didn't really think about it as being different.
Now, you have a sister as well who's not really interested in race car driving, but do you have any other siblings that...
No, it's just the two of us.
So your dad lucked out having the one daughter getting into it, right? That's pretty exciting though. I think we know as having you and I both have young little ones and you know when they're around it, that's the influence, right? And you're saying, so your son, his first words were race car?
It was sad, but true, yes.
Not even mama.
No, he just, from the beginning, loved cars, trains, anything with an engine that went fast.
So odds are, possibly, with your influence and your dad and your family in general.
My husband as well races, so I have no hope. He will probably be racing as well.
The industry is you're going to be in it probably for your lifetime, right?
That's okay. I like it.
Yeah, that's good. So now we've moved in. Once you got your license, that probably changed everything, right? That kind of moved you to another level.
When I got my license, I got a BMW and started racing it regionally. And we did that up at Mossport for a couple years, and then we decided to move into a pro amateur series, which was Grand Am. So I moved into that with the Cobalt. We did that for a couple years, and then I was expecting my son, so we took a little break. Yep. And now we're in the Camaros. So.
Wow, and that's what exciting. I remember when the last time I had talked to you, you had just got your Camaro, and I had this diehard love for Camaros. I had the opportunity to drive a 1968 years ago, and for a radio station that I worked for, and so I fell in love. And then you got one of the new ones. So how cool is that?
I love it. It's an awesome car. It's very competitive in our series.
Is it? Yeah.
And it looks nice.
So they're awesome looking. And you're really starting to see a lot more of the ones that are for the road on the road these days. So it's just like,
they're
so
popular.
Cool. Yeah, they are. It's just so exciting. So tell me about now where you're standing. Like we're now moving into, we're in July, and the last few months have been pretty hectic for you. Like people, a lot of people that aren't in the race circuit don't really know what it means for you, your lifestyle, and how busy it can be.
Well, our series starts in January. We start in Daytona, and between January to October, we're racing every couple weeks. So when we were in June, we had 3 races. We were in Mid-Ohio one weekend, the next weekend in Wisconsin, and then we just finished in Watkins Glen.
Wow.
So, the summer months get a lot busier, a lot of traveling because none of the races are near home. So
of course not. And so I think that's probably a nice thing of you having family and your family being involved in it. Everybody goes, right?
My mom and my dad always come. My sister comes when she can. Yeah. My husband, when he can get some time off work, can come. But my son typically comes with me. My mom watches them, and that's
actually nice. That works out really well, though, right? Because I mean, with your mom also having been in it all these years, that's all she knows too, right? So she was there with you. So that's kind of a fun thing. So. You've got all these races, but let's talk about the training behind it. So when are you training in between the races?
Well, when we have a race, we usually are there for a couple days. We'll fly down Wednesday, we fly home Saturday or Sunday. Okay. So we usually practice while we're there, and that's it. It's not like you can practice during the week and take your car.
Well, that's what I wondered. Yeah, because it's a different kind of thing, right? I mean, people, you play football. A couple guys can toss around a ball or whatever.
Practice every couple times a week. Yeah. No, we don't get to do that. So we show up at the track. Have to learn it, get the car ready, set up the car, and do it in a short amount of time. So. It can be a little hectic, but it's fun.
I would say that though. So it's definitely one of those pressure kind of industries, right? So I mean, you sort of got the lull, and then you've got the go, right? And it's just pressure. And you have a co-driver. Yes. So tell us about that concept of having a co-driver.
Well, in our series in the Grand Am Continental Tire, we have 2 drivers. So the races are typically about 2.5 hours long, and somewhere you hope in the middle is when you do the driver's change. Each driver has to be in the car for at least 30 minutes to get points. And so they'll come in, the first driver will come into the pits, and we'll change tires, fuel the car, switch drivers, so I will jump in or he will jump in depending on who's finishing. Wow. And in about under 30 seconds have our seatbelts on, helmet hooked up, the gates out, everything ready to go.
It's a real system, isn't it? I mean, people are intrigued by the pit crews and how all this all works, but I mean, it is down to a fine art timing wise. It has to be.
It is, right? Definitely. And the other thing is, when you're the second driver and you're going out, you have to be up to speed immediately because you're entering a race that's already in progress.
It's already in progress.
So you don't have time to, you know, warm up and get a feel for it. You have to go.
You got to go.
Be on it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Some of those races, they're already been in the car. They're just going. So what do you like to start? Do you like to finish?
I like to finish. This year is the first year that I've been finishing. Everybody likes to finish because you want to take the checkered flag. So me and my co-driver, we switch back and forth because we both like to do it. But
and then the adrenaline is pretty intense, I'm sure.
It is. Yeah. It's hard to sit in pit lane and wait to get in the car because you have to watch the beginning of the race. And a lot of things happen at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, I bet.
So you're hoping you're going to get in the car and that, you know, he's not.
And then it's all going to go, right? Yes. That it's going to happen, right?
Exactly. And then you have that anticipation before you jump in, and then it's good.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your success so far? Like, let's talk a little bit about obviously some of your success.
I'm very happy with how I've been doing since I've been in the Pro Series. I was second in points when I started to expect my son. So we had to stop halfway through that season, and it was very close to winning that season. So we're trying again now. When we started the Camaro, it was a brand new car, so we had a lot of development to do to it. But this year we are right on track. Out of about 70 teams, we are 13th in points right now.
Wow. That's great.
We still have a couple races to go, so we could definitely move up, but we've had a couple hiccups. You know, that's racing, as they say.
That's the way it is, right? Yeah. Now, where do you want to go from here?
Anywhere I can. You know, it's a hard industry to move up in. You know, only
I can imagine.
1 in 10,000. You know, there's a million races out there.
It's pro sport, right? It's the way it is. Yeah.
So I'm putting all my time and effort into it, and we'll see where.
And we can watch your race that you were just in on July 14th?
Yes. Watkins Glen will be televised on July 14th, and it was an exciting weekend. So
you have to watch to find out. Yes. Thank you so much, Ashley McCalmont. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks
this is awesome. Best
me.
of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll have more Terra at Home. We're in the kitchen coming up.
Come and explore the new Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
AM 900 CHML is giving you more news when you want it most. Non-stop news weekday mornings 5 till 9, weekday afternoons 3 to 6, with weather and traffic on the 9s. Hear about it first from AM 900 CHML, Hamilton's news talk leader.
Welcome back to Terra at Home, and we are here with Chef Rachel, and we're barbecuing today, which is kind of fun to do because it's summer, and we try to find ways to grill anything whenever we can. Right. So other than meat, you can grill, well, a whole bunch of things, right? Vegetables we know we're all familiar with, but we get to grill these guys today.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you doing with them?
This is naan bread. We're doing grilled naan bread 2 ways, as I call it. So I'm going to show you 2 different topping choices that you can put on these, and it's great. Just like an individual pizza or flatbread, they're just the perfect size for one person, for a lunch, dinner, snack. any time of the day.
Yeah, that's the thing what I find in the summertime too. It's a lot more about hors d'oeuvres and snacks. Sometimes people don't even really eat a formal dinner. It's like you're out in the patio, you're having some nice drinks, some lemonade, whatever it may be, and just munching away. So, you know, make a giant bowl of guacamole, have some of these, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing too. You can just grill them and use them with dips, right, as well.
So you're brushing, what oil are you putting
So
on
just
there?
some olive oil on here, just so it doesn't stick much to the grill. Now I have the grill on a medium-high heat, and it reads about 300 degrees. Okay. So you just want it hot enough to kind of get these cooking, maybe, you know, some grill marks on there.
Yeah, and again, that's what's going to be the difference, right? It's this barbecue, as we know, always adds a different flavor. So getting the grill marks obviously is aesthetically pleasing, but having that, it adds a nice flavor to it.
Yes,
right?
It really does.
Yeah,
it does. So we're just gonna grill these, you know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. We'll check on them in a moment.
Okay.
Just kind of get that side cooking. Then we'll flip them over, get the other side grilling, and at that time we'll put our toppings on.
Great.
So I've pre-prepared all these toppings, which is great. You can, you know, it's not too much work, just some veggies, some cheese, a little bit of chicken. Have them all prepared ahead of time, bring it out like this, and then you can, you know, still be outside with your friends and family while you're
great idea, actually. Yeah, so if we had everybody behind us, you know, having a party, you can still do your thing and dress them up, and that's nice to be connected to the party.
Exactly. So I'm going to, I'll tell you now while these are working, what we're doing. I am just going to have a quick look just to see how they're coming along.
It's fast, eh? Look at that.
Very fast. They're looking really good. So we'll just leave this for another minute or so.
Okay.
We'll get them off. The first one is going to be tomato and goat cheese. So we're going to brush it with a little bit of olive oil, put our tomato slices on. Now these are heirloom tomatoes, really nice. I like them because the bright colors, they're great, nice and ripe, very beautiful, I think.
Yes.
So we'll put some tomatoes on, some goat cheese. Then we'll dress that with a salad after. So we'll just cook that.
That's going to be cool. I like how you're adding that salad. You're seeing a lot now, a lot more flatbreads and that coming out, and putting the arugula and the dressing or a little bit of salad on top. It sounds kind of funny to people, but it's really awesome. Of course, it's the last finishing touches, but it's really a great idea.
Yeah. So that's the first flatbread. These two look good. I'm just going to move these to the back a bit just to get a little crispier.
Okay.
The second one we're doing is a chicken pesto. So I've made some pesto with basil. I even put a bit of parsley in there, some Parmesan cheese, olive oil. Got a chicken breast here that's cooked. So what we'll do is we'll brush the bottom with a little bit of pesto. We'll mix some pesto in with the chicken. We'll sprinkle the Asiago cheese and some red onion.
Great.
So that's the second one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I mean, so many possibilities. And one thing too is awesome is a lot of times people will do these. You can make dessert out of these as well, right? So you can go and add, you know, the butter and the cinnamon and apple slices,
chocolate, banana.
Yeah, you can chocolate banana. That's great. Like there's so many options. So it's really easy, and especially these prepackaged naan breads that you can buy now. And again, great for everybody, for kids. They can pick their whatever toppings they want to do.
Yeah,
obviously
exactly.
you don't want your kids barbecuing, but
it's a fun thing too, right?
Yeah. Oh, they smell so good.
So I'm going to turn these down just a little bit, just to give me enough time to put the toppings on. So I've brushed this side with oil now.
Yep.
We'll put them back on.
Wow.
And now we can top them up. So let's get started. I'll do just a little bit more oil on top here.
Okay.
And then we'll just lay the. So there's no real sauce for this first one here.
Okay.
It's just a little bit of oil. We'll lay the tomatoes out.
It's great. I mean, especially once, you know, as we're getting now in summer and all these great vegetables are local and they taste good. Like tomatoes, as we know, taste amazing when they're local versus the ones that we're getting in the off season. So load them up. Tomatoes are I just could eat them like apples when they're in season, right?
Yeah, it's such a great vegetable. One of my favorites.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
A little bit of salt and pepper too.
Yes,
I think
good
on
point,
these,
right? With especially with tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't think we'll put any salt on the other pizza because I put a lot in the pesto that I made.
Yeah.
But just sprinkle this up, and then the goat cheese, and then you just want to cook them.
Wow.
Just for a couple minutes until the cheese is melted, basically, and you know the bottom's all done.
It's really easy and straightforward. I mean, you can, and you know, obviously, as you say, you're adding, you know, something to it in a little bit, but you know, you could just add some fresh herbs on top, whatever you like, and you're good to go.
Of course, I do have some fresh basil out to put on the pesto pizza to finish it off. But yeah, basically we just want to.
I want to do this
get
tonight.
lots of cheese. It's fun.
It makes me just want to cook it now. Let me go home. Every time I'm with you, Rachel, I always want to go home and make what you've made.
That's
I
nice,
generally
thank
do.
That's great.
It's inspiring. Awesome.
Okay, so that's the first one. So that
Perfect.
just needs a couple minutes.
Okay.
These are probably good. So let's get the other side going.
Great.
Yeah, really fun, easy.
Now we're putting obviously olive oil, just a little bit on there as well, just to kind of, since you're putting them back down on the grill, but you know, just so they're not sticking. But again, as you say, with this one, it's just the pesto, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah. So we can do that now. Again.
So great. The great thing too is now you're seeing a lot of pesto, prepackaged pesto, so you don't even have to make it yourself. You can go and buy little jars of it. You can buy it in the grocery store.
Yeah, you can.
It makes this a lot easier as well, stepwise, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Very good.
If you have basil hanging around, it's good to make it yourself. I find it always tastes better.
It tastes better. It tastes fresh.
If you do have, you know, a little bit of extra time, because it doesn't really take long either.
No.
If you have a food processor or a blender, it doesn't even take that long to do.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break and we'll continue to build these, and then we'll do the finishing touches when we return. We'll be right back with more Terra at Home.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
It's time to grow a great garden. It's time for Miracle Grow Expand and Grow, the innovative new planting mix. Expand and Grow expands with water, loosening your soil and giving your plant's roots a balanced mix of air, moisture, and Miracle Grow plant food for up to 3 times the vegetables and flowers. Guaranteed. Miracle Grow, at the root of a great garden.
Welcome back to Terra at Home. We're finishing up our naan flatbreads, and they look like great little pizzas, great for entertaining. And so we finished up putting all the toppings on.
Yep, we have tomato and goat cheese on this one here, and then on the one at the back we put some pesto. We mixed our cooked chicken with some more pesto, some Asiago cheese and red onion.
Great.
And they're all ready to be kind of finished.
Okay.
So for the ones at the back with the pesto, we're just going to finish it off with some baby basil leaves. So that's pretty simple.
That
sticks with the theme.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for this one at the front here, we're going to make a little bit of a salad. So we have some arugula, and I diced up some avocado. So we'll mix that together.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Chopped green onion.
This is a great one for vegetarians as well, and that's what's nice too. I mean, so many people are opting out of eating meat nowadays for different reasons. So, you know, being able to make these and adapt to your guests so easily, even per pizza, per little flatbread.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a little bit of oil. We have some red wine vinegar here just to give it, you know, some flavor.
Yep.
And I'm just going to mix this with my hands, so it'll be easier to place on the pizza.
Right. You know, on a windy day like this, this is what happens, right? Is that the arugula goes flying.
Yeah. Okay, so we just dress the pizza up with the salad.
Great. That just gives it extra depth of flavor, right? So it's almost like you're eating your pizza with a side salad, right? Which is another addition you could do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So great.
So there we go. That's our finished product.
Of course, you can find all these great recipes on our website, terragreenhouses.com, and you can join us every Saturday morning at 5:30. That's it for today. Oh gosh, all I have to say is enjoy summer and enjoy these. Thanks, Chef Rachel.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for now.